I feel like this whole story is this whole show is kind of led into this moment, because we've been talking about issues around Māoridom. We've been talking about what this government's implementing. One of the things they are implementing is this idea about Māori wards, and they've put legislation out that says if your Māori ward was not done by referendum, then you either need to have a referendum by the next election or get rid of it. And so what Kaipara has done, within it feels like seconds of that legislation coming through, is get rid of it. Kaipara, for those who don't know, is sort of, my family had a place at Mangawhai Heads for 40 years, so I know the area well. It's from Mangawhai, which is in north, and goes across and up towards the far north sort of thing. I don't think it encompasses Whangarei, but it kind of goes around the bottom of it in the top part of the North Island. So let's have a look at the story and actually I've got a clip to play you from inside as well, not just the news story.
There were police altercations and accusations of racism as hundreds of people protested today about the removal of Kaipara District Council's Māori ward. It comes just days after the government passed a controversial law change compelling councils that have established a Māori ward without a referendum to remove them or put them to a public vote. Kaipara District Council covers a huge area north of Auckland and includes the towns of Dargaville and Mangawhai. Māori Affairs correspondent Tiani Wahuri-Hanganui reports.
Outside, the tension was palpable. Protesters fired up as the Kaipara District Council gathered to vote on the future of its Māori ward. The Mayor announced the extraordinary meeting last week, just 24 hours after the government's law change was confirmed.
So even forget the vote, forget this, for any of those things, there is an active direction to do this as quickly as possible. I mean, this Māori ward is going to be there until the next election. So it's not going anywhere today or tomorrow because they've voted it down. So they could have made a choice today to put it to referendum at the next election. They haven't done that. They've just decided to get rid of it today. Gone. So they had a choice to go, well, let's leave it to the people at the next election, or let's get rid of it today, we'll vote it out, and they chose to vote it out. So that's an admission in and of itself as to the direction of the leadership of this governance.
Despite the council having until September to make a decision.
Gibson, Porue, Sua.
But minutes before the hui even began, an unexpected announcement.
We have just handed some documents to the Kaipara District Council in terms of a court injunction.
The legal action adding even more drama to the heated debate inside.
The establishment and need of Māori wards relies on a false narrative. That narrative preaches that Māori have no voice.
New Zealand is racist as a duck.
So can we just have a look as well, those of you who are watching the video, if you're listening, you'd have to have a look. He's talking about Māori has no voice. Yes, there's Māori in this meeting, but, do you think you might be slightly overrepresented by old, white, grey-haired men? Just talking about representation, like if you're saying we don't need this to be a representation so we can get rid of it, just have a look at that picture. Who you think has the most overrepresentation in that group? Just drink it in, whānau, drink it in.
It looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck. It's a duck.
As protesters chanted, the blinds were opened. Māori ward councillor Ihapera Paniora determined to ensure they were seen and heard. Police forced to step in. The councillor given multiple warnings.
Wonder what the warning's for. Not opening the door? Is there a crime in that, sir? I can't open the door? What are you warning me for?
Councillors were urged to delay the vote to a later date so Māori could be directly consulted.
And here's a chance for us to consult with those that it affects.
But the suggestion was rejected. The doors swinging open for a second time. The Mayor's position was clear from the outset.
Personally, I've never believed in division by race and forming voting blocks based on race.
And in the end, the council voted for the Māori ward to go.
Today is a good day because it brought our people together, it unified us in our fight for existence.
The seat will be scrapped at next year's election. Many here disappointed, but determined to fight on. Te Aniwahuri Hanganui, One News.
I guess you got to say as well, after watching the Māori Party get-together groups so quickly to protest what's happening at central government, this could be a rallying cry for, you know, Māori and allies and buffers within the Kaipara Harbour area or the district to get together and do some. I like it how the mayor says, "I never believe in division based on race. We should only do things the Pākehā way." You know, it's like, are you aware of what you're saying, fuck knuckle? I'll show you this. This has already sort of been on, but this was from inside. It's be from TVNZ, so, but it's just raw footage. And you can see Māori Ward councillor is this lady here. I'm not sure who this guy is, but he seems to be an ally because he gets over there and tries to open up the door. Just have a look at this for 30 seconds, but what's happening inside the actual room. The room where it happened, as Hamilton would say. She opens the door. So it's just gross. Like, you know, I struggle sometimes, Clint, to use the word racist. I'm more comfortable at times because racism or being racist does commit someone to an ideology that I don't definitely know all the time. Obviously you do some of the time if they're wearing a white hood and throwing their hand in the air, you know, but the whole kind of racially charged racial undertones, you know, racial division, racial subjugation, if it all means racist, fine. But this is just fucking gross, man. These guys have a chance to actually talk about things, give it to the community, which would be democratic. You know, give it some space to think about it. And within 24 fucking hours, this piece of shit mayor just goes, nah, let's just get rid of it. Wait, what is it? I'd never believed in division by race, as all the white men make the decision around that fucking boardroom. I'm actually really angry. I feel a bit emotional. I'm really angry.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly what you're saying there. It's easy to believe that there's no division or problems along ethnic and racial lines in the country when you've always been on the top of the pile. Yeah. And you got there through your own incredible genius, didn't you? Not because of the circumstances that you were born into. So, you know, it's very easy to have that perception and not actually look and listen to others and who aren't in your situation. And this is the thing. It's just a total disinterest in saying, well, why do they feel that Māori wards are important? Maybe I should listen to that as their mayor rather than going and cancelling that and not even not consulting, not even having the referendum, which, you know, he should know that would probably lose. So yeah, it's pretty bad.
But you're right. I mean, that's what he said. I've never believed in racial division. I don't give a fuck what you believe. If this is a place that we run a democracy, it matters what the community thinks. I've never believed. And of course, then you get onto the idea of, and we've had extensive talks about this on the show, but there are other wards. There are rural wards, right? Rural wards, which obviously are a place that farmers and farming communities and rural communities get an overrepresented say in there as well. Guess what? None of those are voted on. They just get decided. And guess what? This fucking government hasn't said, oh, by the way, you know all those rural wards that councils have just decided to have without a referendum? We're going to do the same thing for them. So again, it's just this pushback against, I'm not even going to say race, it's this pushback against Māori. You know, that's the only thing they're pushing back against. It's just, it's infuriating. And someone said in the chat, and you're so right, this is why you vote in local elections. The Ratepayers Association, who are generally old white people with several properties, they are overrepresented on the actual council and in the voting booth. And I don't want to be an arsehole and go, oh, well, if you don't vote, it's your fault, because I get it. I get it how disenfranchised we can be when we're living in a world that doesn't reflect us or be near us or look like what we're going to do. But if you remove yourself from it altogether, then this is the end result. I mean, Northland, Māori population in Northland, I think, is the highest per capita than anywhere in the country. You know, this racist mayor probably could go quite easily if you guys got together and sorted it out at the next election. It's just gross. It's just gross.
Yeah. I saw that clip of Karen McNulty in the House asking Simeon Brown, who was the responsible minister, about that very question about, so you say that there should be a referendum before you create any special wards, but is that only going to apply to Māori wards, or is it going to apply to other special wards like rural wards? Or whenever you create a ward, will there have to be a referendum? And little Simeon gets up and sort of sheepishly says, oh, no, we're just doing it for Māori wards. And yeah, it's completely lacking in principle. You know, it almost sort of sounds principled at first. Go, you know, if you're going to create new wards, you should have a referendum on that, until you realise that that's not what happens with other wards at all, and never has been. And it's just rubbish. It's just anti-Māori pandering. Yeah.
And it's all, sorry, I just need a little bit of puppy time. So it's just for people who are getting grumpy. It's like a palate cleanser. Bring Nala in to cleanse the palate. And it's this thing over and over again. And we've been mostly pointing the bone at old David Seymour, but the rural wards in this situation, they don't want what they consider to be equal out anywhere else in society. You know, they don't want to equal out rural wards. They don't want to make that fair and equitable and democratic. They only want to do it to the Māori wards. They don't want to, worry about anything to do with non-Māori when it comes to privileges that some other people groups have got within the human rights classifications. They only want to level the field. And so all they're trying to do is just put there, and I've used this term before, and some people have given me some grief because of the connotations, but I don't care. They just want to put their knee on the neck of Māori, subjugate them so they get more votes next time around by that white, racist, white supremacist element within their community, and keep on keeping on, getting their titles and going off and shaking hands internationally, as you said, Clint.